Today we're actually targeting bass. These techniques aren't necessarily specific just to bass, so you might be able to use them for other species in the salt as well. I'm using a Smoke PT 25 size reel on a new Smoke rod. With the Smoke PT reel that I'm using, my go-to size is the 25. I find it's a good all-round size, covers me for most conditions, particularly soft plastics fishing. It's a comfortable retrieve speed at this size reel, and the drag size and everything is good for fish up to sort of the 10-pound mark and that I'm trying to get. 7-foot rod length, very versatile for this type of fishing. You've got the ability for those slightly longer casts than a 6-foot rod. I run through a few of the techniques. The most common and probably the easiest one to remember, it's referred to as a slow roll, but all you're essentially doing is a constant steady retrieve of the plastic just to keep it in the depth range that you know the fish are at. There's like another nice bass on. We've been sitting here targeting suspended fish. Just slow rolling the plastic through them. It's a nice bass. Another nice bass. So as you can see, today is pretty windy. I'm not doing anything, I'm not working at all. Just using the GP Smart electric motor. I push the anchor function. That thing there just holds me here and I can concentrate on catching these fish. So another simple addition you can add to a slow roll is what we sort of call it's a shake and retrieve technique. So what you're after is you allow the plastic to hit the bottom and you just give it a cute little shakes like that, and then a bit of a roll, and then let it fall back to the bottom. So it'll be sitting on the bottom, it'll dart up real like it's trying to escape, and then it'll just casually swim along at a set depth, and then it'll fall back to the bottom. You'll either get the bite as soon as it leaves the bottom because they'll be watching it from the last time it fell, or they'll follow it along, and as you pause and let it fall back to the bottom, they think it's trying to get away, so they'll grab it then. So probably the third of the most common techniques is sort of a simple hop. I like to give it a bit of a double hop. So similar with the shaking retrieve, you start with the plastic on the bottom, tight line, 2 hops, lift your rod, and then under taut line, let it fall back to the bottom. The idea is, one way it's a fleeing fish, and on the fall is sort of like a dying or injured fish. I typically find the rougher the weather, the rougher my technique needs to be. So rough weather, you'll do that fast shake and roll technique just to draw a response from them. Obviously they're not feeling as threatened because light penetration is less, everything else is stirred up, the bait's probably stirred up. So on the other hand, when you do get that calm, glassed out fine day, that slow roll technique of just keeping a constant swimming along is typically what brings them undone. So probably one of the final points, and maybe most vital, is your jig head weight when you rig your plastics. So there's 3 key weights that I like to run with, which will cover most depth range. I run 1/4, 3/8 and 1/2 ounce. So the quarter, I'm looking to go anywhere from the edge out to about sort of that 12 to 15 feet. And then when you're moving a little bit deeper, you're running from sort of 15 to 25, probably maximum, you'll use a 3/8 jig head. And then just for ease, in anything deeper than 25, or even in sort of 20 onwards if it's rough, I'll run with that 1/2 ounce. It's a lot easier to keep in contact with the bottom. Typically the weight of the jig head will determine the size of the hook, but anywhere from that sort of 1/0 up to a 3/0, going from your quarter to your 1/2. And I prefer a finer gauge, simply I find it a lot easier for a hook set, and provided you're using a nice tapered rod and not going too heavy on the drag, you won't have any problems with straightening any of those finer gauge hooks. There we go. When choosing soft plastic colours, I pretty much keep all my soft plastic colours natural, but I do look at things like water clarity, stuff like that. So you're more looking at, it's always natural, but you're looking for a solid or a translucent colour. So if you've got dirty water or dark days, you'll run that solid colour of lure. If you're looking at clear water and plenty of sun, you look for something with maybe a little bit of glitter in it, but as long as you can actually see through the lure. There you go, nice little bass on a soft plastic. If you want any more information on any of the equipment or techniques that I've used today, go to quantumfishing.com.au.